This is Glasgow Cathedral in Glasgow, Scotland. It's the oldest building in Glasgow. In the early 500s, the area where Glasgow City exists today had very few people. It was mostly made up of forests, rivers, and farmland. While there were some Christians, the people of this land are believed to have been mostly pagans. Their religion was focused on nature, ancestral spirits, and various gods associated with different aspects of life and the natural world. In the area we're standing in now, there was a burial ground called Cathedral. In the 500s, a Scottish priest named St. Mungo came to this location to bury the body of a holy man named Fergus. He then decided to stay here and set up a religious community. They built a small church made of timber. St. Mungo dedicated himself to prayer, spent time studying religious texts, and provided spiritual guidance to the community. His Christian teachings would have played a major role in changing the religious practices of the people in this region from paganism to Christianity. It was around this time that this region came to be known as Glasgow. It is most widely accepted that the name Glasgow comes from the Celtic words glass and cow. This translates as Green Valley. St. Mungo died in the year 614 and was buried in his church. By the 1100s, the people of this land had come together to form the country of Scotland. King David I was the ruling monarch, and he decided to have a stone cathedral built in this location in 1136. It was dedicated to St. Mungo and was built upon his burial site. It was gradually constructed over a period of 150 years, but unfortunately it was destroyed in a fire. However, it was soon replaced by this cathedral in 1197. For many centuries, it has stood at this very site. The cathedral is a magnificent example of Gothic architecture, with its soaring arches, intricate stonework, and beautiful stained glass windows. It also houses the tomb of St. Mungo, which is a popular pilgrimage site. The seeds of conflict were sown with the untimely death of Scotland's King Alexander III in 1286. His young granddaughter, Margaret, Maid of Norway, became heir, but tragically, she too passed away in 1290. This left the Scottish throne vacant, with no clear successor and a multitude of claimants vying for the crown. King Edward I of England visited Glasgow Cathedral in August 1301 during the First War of Scottish Independence. But it wasn't merely a royal visit. It was a strategic manoeuvre amidst a turbulent power struggle. Edward, the power-hungry monarch, had long desired to conquer Scotland and make it subservient to England. Edward seized this opportunity, inserting himself into Scottish affairs under the pretense of mediating the succession crisis. He demanded recognition as Lord Paramount of Scotland, a title that would grant him ultimate authority over the kingdom. When the Scottish nobles resisted, Edward unleashed his military might, forcing them to concede. Edward's interference didn't end there. He meddled in Scotland's internal affairs, demanded Scottish troops and funds for his war against France, and treated Scotland as a subordinate kingdom. This ignited a fiery spirit of resistance among the Scots, who refused to bow to English domination. Figures like William Wallace, Andrew de Marais, and Robert the Bruce emerged as champions of Scottish independence, leading a valiant struggle against English oppression. Edward's visit to Glasgow Cathedral in 1301 during this time of conflict was a calculated move to assert his dominance. Another historic moment occurred when Robert the Bruce visited the cathedral in 1306. Following the murder of his rival, John Comyn, Bruce sought sanctuary within the cathedral's walls. There, Bishop Robert Wishart absolved him of the crime. Despite this, he was banished from mainstream society. He lived as a fugitive, rallying support and waging guerrilla warfare against the English. A mere 6 weeks later, he was crowned as King of Scotland once again. However, his early reign was marked by setbacks and a desperate struggle for survival against English forces. Yet, through strategic brilliance and unwavering determination, he gradually turned the tide. He wore down the English, while simultaneously forging alliances with Scottish nobles and clergy. He exploited the death of King Edward I and the weaknesses of his successor, Edward II, to his advantage. The war culminated in 1314 at the Battle of Bannockburn, when Bruce's army defeated the English. This resulted in Scotland earning its independence from England. The University of Glasgow has been an important educational institution for centuries in Scotland. It's the fourth oldest university in the English-speaking world, but the university's first classes took place here at Glasgow Cathedral in the Chapter House section in 1451. As the seat of the bishop and a major religious centre, the cathedral would have been the focal point for the spiritual lives of the people. It would have been the place where people were baptized, married, and buried, marking the most important events in their lives. The cathedral was closely linked to the ruling elite of Scotland. Kings and nobles made pilgrimages to the cathedral, and its bishops often held important positions in government. The cathedral's support could legitimize a ruler's claim to the throne, as seen in the case of Robert the Bruce. They owned vast tracts of land and collected payments from the local population. These payments were known as tithes. By the 1500s, Glasgow Cathedral was a powerful symbol of the Catholic Church in Scotland. It was the seat of the Archbishop of Glasgow and housed a community of clergy who played important roles in the religious and political life of the country. Across Europe, the Pope and the Catholic Church held great power over the people because they had the final say in interpreting the Bible. The Catholic Church also had a powerful hierarchy, but there was corruption within this power structure, as people were able to pay to reach positions of power or gain power through friendships or family ties. But this was about to change. Over time, people came to dislike the power that the Church held over them and the corruption that was happening within the Catholic Church. This created the beginning of Protestantism. Protestantism began in Germany by a man named Martin Luther. Protestants believed that the Church and the Pope should not control the people and that Christians should only need to use the Bible to guide their lives. Protestants also translated the Bible into more languages other than Latin to make the Bible more accessible to people and allow them to interpret it for themselves. Protestantism spread across Europe. This was known as the Reformation. In the year 1560, it reached Glasgow. One of the immediate consequences was that Archbishop James Beaton fled to France. He took with him not only valuable items belonging to the cathedral, but also crucial diocesan records. It was an attempt to preserve the Catholic Church's history and authority in the face of religious upheaval. The Reformation brought about a dramatic shift in the religious practices and beliefs of Scotland. The cathedral underwent a process of cleansing where its Catholic elements were removed or destroyed. Despite the upheaval and the changes, the cathedral building itself was not destroyed. Glasgow Cathedral is noted as one of only 2 Gothic cathedrals in Scotland to have survived this period of religious turmoil. The other, St Magnus Cathedral, is located in Orkney. In 1832, the Glasgow Necropolis was established. It's a Victorian cemetery with an estimated 50,000 individuals buried there and 3,500 monuments. The larger monuments are situated at the top of the hill around the John Knox Monument. John Knox was a crucial figure in the rise of Protestantism in Scotland. A path leads from Glasgow Cathedral across an old bridge called the Bridge of Sighs to the necropolis. The name Bridge of Sighs was given due to its association with funeral processions. Glasgow Cathedral remains a vibrant hub of activity today. As an active Church of Scotland parish, It hosts regular services, weddings, and funerals. Simultaneously, it stands as a popular tourist attraction and historic site, drawing visitors with its impressive architecture and stained glass windows. Entry to the cathedral, like many tourist sites, is free. The cathedral also serves as a dynamic venue for concerts, exhibitions, and festivals, contributing to Glasgow's cultural scene. Its striking appearance even attracts filmmakers, who utilise it as a backdrop for various productions. It was used in the filming of The Batman 2022, starring Robert Pattinson. While the cathedral itself wasn't blown up, contrary to some rumours at the time, it was used for a key scene involving a funeral procession for Gotham City's mayor. The filmmakers were drawn to the cathedral's beautiful Gothic architecture, which lent itself perfectly to the dark and brooding atmosphere of Gotham City. More recently, the cathedral was also used as a filming location for the Guillermo del Toro film Frankenstein. So there it is. Glasgow Cathedral, an ancient landmark and place of worship, remains a vital part of Glasgow's vibrant history. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you want to see more.